Hello, everybody.
Hiya.
Hello, and welcome to the very seventh episode of Waterdeep Mallrats Blackstar Lane on this dark, winter cold Monday here in London. London. So I hope everyone's feeling good this week. Had a nice week. Been cracking on with stuff that we usually do. I hope you guys came in and saw us having a chat with Mr. Rob Thompson this week as well, which was nice. But of course, it's been a difficult week for our characters, and they've kind of moved on, or not, as the case may be. Might be too soon. You don't know.
Who knows?
But yes,
I've moved on.
after you've moved on. Yeah, we can see you've moved on. You've got a new name and everything, so you've definitely moved on. But I think yeah, it was a very difficult episode last week. And for those of you who watched, our heart sits and cries with you for the wonder that was Tunk. Sorry, Kurt. So,
Spoilers.
spoilers. All right. So I did my usual, see how the gang is getting on, so see how everybody is today. So, Gabby, how you doing?
I'm really good, thanks.
Yeah?
We were talking about this a bit before. I had cheese and onion crisps for tea for dinner, and it's exceptional. That's like a sign of being an adult when you can really eat shit. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just have like a Pringles, a pack of like salt and vinegar Pringles with a Dr Pepper for dinner, and that's so sick, isn't it? Isn't that like the best?
So
Like a
no,
proper, like fuck you to your parents
And-
who's always trying to keep you
yeah,
healthy.
that's true. That is true. So I suppose your greens are like the tube of the Pringles.
Yeah, yeah. And there must be some fruit in Dr Pepper, no?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Coca, is that a
Yeah,
vegetable?
what is that
I
flavour?
think Dr Pepper is labeled as a sparkling fruit drink.
I thought it was a cola,
I
wasn't it?
don't think it's a. Bear with
Or
me.
root beer.
Keep-
If it's
keep
a root
talking
beer,
for
it's got
Joe.
root in it, right? That's and beer. I mean, that's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, beer's like hops or something in it, so that's a veg.
That's a vegetable. It's one of your
Yeah.
5 a day for sure.
Yeah,
Today.
sweet.
5 today, yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad that's been the highlight of your week.
Yeah. It actually is. I love food so much, Joe. You don't understand.
What's been your surprise dinner? Your surprising dinner, other than crisps this week? What's been a dinner you went, oh yeah, that was good.
I had I made like a diced chicken with veg, like stir fry, and just right at the end put just some hoisin sauce on it, and then made it into a wrap because I eat everything with wraps at the minute, like in a wrap, because I think it's so much nicer.
Yep.
Obviously,
It
I
is
can't
so much
afford,
nicer.
can't
I
afford to
agree
get
with
burritos or go for takeaways, or we're not allowed to go for meals. So I just put everything in a wrap, and it was actually so nice because it was moist as well. Oh, that's
Oh,
a horrible
yeah.
word, isn't it? Everyone hates that, but it's nice in food.
Yeah, thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
Especially twinning it with this as well. It was not. Yeah, it was quite the ASMR delight that was.
Yep. So please join us on Tuesdays. We do cooking with Gabby.
There's only 2 meals I can do. I'll just do 2 weeks. It'll be off.
Weeks of content, fine.
So one of them is soy sauce chicken in a wrap, and the other one is crisps.
Crisps, yeah. I'd love to be able to make crisps. How do you
I
make
know.
crisps?
I would love to make crisps.
I guess you slice up potatoes. I have no clue.
No, me neither. I suppose you got to boil them or something. I don't know.
I'm
Fry 'em.
not doing that. That's too far. But this is what I don't get with people like wanting to make dough for more potatoes. You can just buy them from the shop, like made. But you can't. So I don't know why people want to make them from scratch.
I mean, that makes sense coming from Pringles and a can of Dr Pepper for a meal.
Exactly. Who wants to make Pringles and who wants to make Dr Pepper? I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Dr
Yeah.
Pepper is a sparkling blend of 23 fruit flavors.
Fruit.
23 fruits.
Yeah,
That's
it is owned by
23.
Coca-Cola as well.
That's 23 of your 5 a day.
Could you name 23 fruits?
Yeah.
Go.
22 apples and a pear.
Boom, boom. Is literally the only way I can do that.
Change the rules, change the game.
Exactly. Always turning up with the dad jokes is our Rob Thompson. How you doing today, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. I am very well. I've exited out of my Dr Pepper tab. I broke my headphones today, or the other day, last week. I think it was a sign that, I lost something emotional over the previous week, and then I had to lose something physical as well. Tunk being the emotional thing, headphones being the physical. I'm doing good, though. Thanks for asking. I'd kill for a tin of Pringles right now, if I'm honest, or a substantial meal.
What did you have for dinner?
What was to say it again?
What did you have for tea?
What did I have for tea? Fuck all so far.
Coffee. That's it.
Got a cup of coffee here. Oh, I have actually some news. I'm making a show. That's something. I'm making a show with our good friend Joseph Cullen. It's a digital show. It's going to be like a silly games-based get-together where people do stupid tasks with the theme of Alice in Wonderland, loosely crowbarred in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well done,
I'll let you know the update on that. But the script's written,
please.
and we're testing it on Saturday.
What's the title?
It's called The White Rabbits Down the Rabbit Hole or something like that. Don't know. We'll have to let you know when it's figured out.
I kind of think you need a title at some point. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. What if Rob Thompson and Joseph Cullen present a show?
White Rabbit Hole.
White Rabbit.
Those are two names that can sell a show by themselves. They're just the.
But do send it over so that we can bung it onto the group and make sure everyone can come and see you do something else.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's really cool. And talk about selling anything that kind of comes to mind. Mr. Dan Berman, how are you doing today?
I am here with my wonderful new from Brewdoggy Tunk IPA, which I've had specially made for the sad passing. So I thought, I got onto the guys at Brewdog and had some specialist cans done, which definitely wasn't just done with a Sharpie.
I see the Sharpie.
Like, subscribe, and buy all of them.
Yep. So Brewdog, if you're listening.
Brewdoggy.
The Brewdoggy.
God, there's so many layers to this, Dan, that I'm
it's
only
right.
just picking up.
It's constantly blurred out like you're holding something illegal. It's brilliant.
Really?
You have to hold it in front of your face.
Okay, hang on. Let's just go like this.
Yeah, that'll do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Move myself a bit closer.
That works, yeah.
Yep, it definitely says Brewdog.
Good.
Oh, I'm getting a hold on there, Joe.
Doggy.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Like, do you remember at school when you used to go like, oh yeah, I could possibly get that word in at the end of the page, and then you can't, and then you end up like writing round the corner.
Yeah.
I still do that. I do.
Old school, mate. Just it's where it starts, isn't it, at school?
Exactly. You pick up loads of habits at school. Smoking and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Deals with demons and all these
deals
kind
with demons and all sorts of things. But you've had a good week otherwise, other than getting your beer.
Yeah, I've had a really good week. I'm in that stage now with this where I'm like, I don't feel like I do much, and then the week's gone. I'm like, what happened?
Oh yes.
And then sometimes I'm all right with that, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have done more things, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I did less things. I think the time's just going at the moment. It's mad, isn't it?
Yep. I've literally spent sort of great time just watching Dark this week.
Great.
Which has been sensational. And anyone who wants a good TV show right now, check it out on Netflix.
Amazing. There you go.
It's a great show. German show. And I would say Stranger Things meets The It meets Tales from the Loop meets Murder. Scandinavia, Germany, in Europe, a bit of darkness is brilliant. I love it so much. Confused the hell out of me. I'm still confused the hell out of, and I'm halfway through.
Excellent.
And I'm enjoying every second of it. So check that out. If you are on the chat today, do say hi. Our operator, Mr. Dan Berman, is always available on the chat.
Yeah.
Any calls coming in?
Yeah, sorry, I was just hold, please. We had Darren come in before we even started.
Love Darren.
Messaging us through the title screen. And he's still broken from last week.
We all.
Love Darren.
Who
Okay.
else we got? We've got Mama Thorpe, we've got Bevans, we've got Ferg, and we've got Yusuf.
Oh,
Hey,
Yusuf.
Yeah, Yusuf.
Ah, our little fire wizard.
Yeah.
Fire wizard. Genasi.
Oh my word! So, yeah, we're currently playing a game with Yusuf, and he has turned up as the only word I can use is bad mouth, bad mannered fire wizard. Um, thinking it's all cool with fire and stuff, which has been loads and loads of fun.
He's an angry fella.
He's an
nearly killed
angry, yeah.
And it killed him straight away.
Anyone who turns up to a town in the north and says, "Is everybody in the north this stupid?" Deserves a medal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He didn't mean it like that.
Just
He
made
didn't mean
two
it like
enemies
that.
of Gabby
Oh, right.
immediately.
I'm just gonna make that clear. He did not mean it like that. But yeah, so we got a new game of that on Wednesday, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. But yeah, so good. That's been my week, and I hope everyone else at home has had a good week as well. I have to say, actually, Mama Thorpe did talk to me about
Did she give you a
last
bollocking?
week.
Did you get in trouble? Did you get on timeout?
No, she really enjoyed it, and she was sad as hell that Duncan's now gone. Sorry, Kurt. And it was just a way. But yeah, she really much enjoyed Tunk. So hopefully, she will hate your new character, and then she can move her love on to one of our other characters for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Because of course, sorry, Kurt. So of course, with Tunk's death last week, it was a bit tough. On all of us. Just want to see how you were on it all. If you were okay.
I generally thought I was okay, and then I immediately the day after started researching who am I going to play, who's going to be the next character, and if anyone that's watching could have seen the amount of texts that I sent Joe of possibilities and how ludicrous each one of them was, it was clear that I was still, and I even said, I'm sorry, ignore these, I'm still grieving, because it was a strange experience to have, to be mourning the loss of an imaginary character. But yeah, good. If you would like to hear more on that topic, please go back and watch the conversation that myself and Joe had last Thursday, where we discuss Thumping Tunk Bloodstone and also another character of mine, Cash.
Exactly.
We talked D&D and making characters and mechanics and how I chaotically come up with characters. Not necessarily the right way, but certainly my way.
Exactly. So that you should be able to find that on the YouTube channel under the Saboteurs, and you'll be able to see my little chat with Rob.
My
Thompson.
little chat.
Exactly. And I'll be chatting this week with a lovely gentleman called Stuart Trainer about a couple of clerics actually. One is Lachlan, it's a grave cleric, Furbolg. The other, which you'll be really interested in, Rob, actually, which is a trickster cleric called Tilly, who has to be the most epic character I have ever played alongside. So I'm very much looking forward to that chat. So do join us on Thursdays at 7 o'clock for that one. But back to today. So, yes, it's going to be quite a difficult one for us all, but we will get through this the best we possibly can. All right. I have to say apologies for the lack of music this week.
Oops.
As an artist, I should respect other people's work.
Yes.
And therefore, I've decided not to use music anymore.
However, if you are watching and you are a particularly good composer who would like to come on board and help spread your music through this medium, then please get in touch, because if you think it adds something, then we can make that happen.
Well, thanks, Dan. Rob, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
New character, new me, guys. I'm
Exactly.
taking over Dan's role.
Well, okay, gotcha. But Dan, do you want to send over the chat stuff so Rob can have something else to think about?
Yeah, absolutely fine. I will take a break.
No. Batman.
Batman. All right.
Maybe
shall we
my
get
influence is just spreading. Maybe it's
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
Maybe you'll all be shills within the next 2 months. You know,
What's a
I have no idea what a shill is, but
just
yeah.
a shameless self-promoter.
Oh right, yeah,
I would
Oh,
love to
internet
be
lingo.
there.
yeah.
Yeah, social media internet logo. Please, Dan, teach us more.
That's not social. A shill is like.
Lots to learn.
On a serious note, it's actually such a good skill to have. I'm embarrassed to talk about anything apart from crisps, apparently. So it's good to self-promote.
It's okay. I accept all of your mockery. It fuels me to be more, to sell more.
Okay. Love you, Dan.
Love.
All right, shall we get cracking and play some D&D?
Let's do it.
Because we've only been chatting bullshit for 18 minutes, so that's not too bad.
That's
Quicker than last time.
That's good.
It is. That is much quicker than last time.
It's quite funny. We do get a noticed increase in our number of people in the chat room after about sort of the half an hour mark. It's like they know. Stop chatting shit.
It's like, guys, shut up. Just play the game.
Yeah.
All right. So, last time, sorry, Kurt, we had the fall of our beautiful character, Tunk, who spent the first part of the episode internally fighting, sort of seeing memories of the parents, of the mum telling them to come with them, and their father telling them to go back and fight, the Cassalanters ripping the shit out of them, and finally into a ring to decide whether to fight or flee. At the same time, we had our characters out, so Oshi and Pups, in the morning street as they were all using their hopes and prayers and candles and vigils to try and get Tunk back up from his fall, seeing their champion had fallen. And I think, Pups, you stayed by Tunk pretty much the whole time, apart from a toilet break, but
Yeah.
you did stay by the body for the whole time. And that kind of allowed Oshi to kind of go off for a bit. And Pups, you were mainly thinking about hope, really, weren't you?
Yeah. The hope that Tunk will get better, but also the hope that, well, just the hope that there was so many people from both sides of the divide had come to be around Tunk and give their support, that might merge the two sides of the street again and make us one community.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And of course, Oshi, you went out to the WAC first, and you're now a cadet of the WAC, the Women's Association for Cakes and Kingship, led by Colonel Auntie Patrick. And you picked up a little gift there, didn't you?
Yeah, Oshi got 10 darts and a cake.
Yeah, and a cake. And you kind of got a badge to kind of say that you were starting to become a cadet of some sort of the WAC. You're not sure what that means yet, but it's a step in the direction of an organisation, which was cool. But then you went to see your old friend at the baker's.
Yeah.
And you were kind of given an option of what to, considering the baker speaks to everybody, of like, what do you want to be spread? What words do you want to be said? What questions do you want to be asked of the community? And you asked half of them to be told that it was the Watchers had done it, and half of them that the Blades had done it. Just poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were mad. You were angry at the time.
Yeah.
Really, really angry. And that kind of caused a lot of fear to kind of go through the town. So dwindling the numbers that were in vigil. And then unfortunately, Tunk fell in his sleep to the poison. We think it was poison anyway. And he left us to go where? Dan?
Well, and let's not forget that he immediately left us just as Vimy professed their love for him.
Yep. Which was all to Oshi's delight on that one.
Thank God she wasn't there.
was strolling across a meadow. There were sheep the family was just on the horizon and then fell through a hole down to the Nine Hells, down to Asmodeus to see Claude again.
Yeah, that was nice.
So that there is a upside to the fact that Tunk's soul is now being used as a slave for eternity by the god of the Seven Hells.
Yeah. Right. They're all safe though, aren't they? Everyone's safe. That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Fine.
Look
Sure,
at
fine.
Look at Rob's face, eh?
Just saying, it's typical of a man who scoffs Haribo by the fistful. That's
Oh yes,
classic
let's not
actions.
forget about that. Let's not forget about that. But yeah, so unfortunately, because of a deal that was made a good 10 years ago with Asmodeus, by pups, in order to keep the team safe and get them out of that situation, which is a noble act, he sold their souls if he couldn't deliver the souls of the Cassalanters before any of them fell. Unfortunately, Tunk fell, and now his soul is gone.
Thought I'd have a bit more time than this.
You had 10 years, mate.
We didn't role play that bit, Joe.
You could have agreed that in those 10 years, a lot of things have been solved. We're making this up as we go along, Dan.
I'm sure that would have gone down really well. I'm sure. I'm sure I just snuck that in.
Just come back to the crew. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back. Please say hello to Dan on the chat. By the way, we solved all the world problems and we're having a really, really easy time with it now.
Cassalanters were well up for it. They were so bored of life.
Yeah, true. Just the lockdown in Waterdeep. And
Yeah.
just were like, they are done. Get me out of here. Let's go Nine Hells. Alrighty, so we're gonna go to the day after, which is always the right time for a funeral. So I think what we see first is some heating. Actually, no. The camera kind of sweeps through down the street, through the archway of the market, through to this tiny little stall. Where we see Jeremiah, big dwarf, big ginger beard, and he's rummaging through all of the stacks and all of his shelves to find a box. He opens the box, flicks it open, and inside we see him unraveling something. From the other side of the box, we see his face as he looks down upon what's inside the box. As a tear rolls down. Big snot comes across his face and he wipes it and closes the box. We sweep down the street as we see him kind of stand with the box and begin to walk his way through out of the market, turning right and going down towards number 3. We're going to go a little ahead of him as we swing forward and go through the doorway and up the back stair, up to the room where 2 people who have not slept, taking vigil all night, are cleaning down the body of Thumping Tunk Bloodstone. They wipe his brow and clean his body completely, adding particular oils and smells and flavours, particularly lavender, to help him sleep. You end up placing the lavender across his chest, his big bulbous belly, as you hear a knock at the door. The door opens.
Yeah, Pups just carries on.
And you smell kind of the smell of like the metal filings. As I think Oshi, do you get a look around, or one of you looks around?
Yeah, she looks up from Tunk to see who it is behind the door or in the door.
And you see this big tiefling. Not tiefling, sorry, dwarf. Big dwarf that stood there with a box.
Jeremiah.
And he kind of walks in silently. He looks over at Tunk's body. So you got no battle armor? He puts a box down. And you see the box has got like all of these ornate sort of carvings across it. And he opens it up. Originally made this one for myself, but probably more fitting it goes on him. He opens the box and turns it around to you. And inside you see this full steel and gold dwarven armor. As you go over to the box and you kind of lift up the breastplate, and on it is a big hammer.
He had one like this when we were younger, kind of. We used to play these silly games, and he had always imagined having one like this.
Yes, it's a bloodstone battle armor. I was going to keep it till my death, but probably better if he has it. It is his family sigil. And he looks over the body. What are you doing to the body?
Just putting oils on it and cleaning it and putting lavender on it so he sleeps.
Yes, him. It's a private moment for family. And he pushes the box towards you. If you'd rather, I will stand outside.
Okay, thank you.
And he's obviously disappointed in that. He turns on his heels and kind of goes out the door and shuts the door.
Should he be in here, Pops?
Who?
Jeremiah.
It was the closest thing that Tunk had to family that wasn't us.
So shall I get him?
And Pops just goes back and is like really meticulously like working around like all the really tiny places like under the cuticles of the nails and like between like really, really, really fine places that he's probably cleaned or adorned like 4 or 5 times already.
She opens the door to Jeremiah and says, I think it's best you're here too.
It's in. Do you need a hand with the battle armor?
Yes, please.
It's traditional to tell stories when we put the armor on. Remember great battles, great journeys, great moments. Kind of picks up the kind of let me think about this. Like a glaive, like legs, feet. Kind of slips a foot in. The gentle soul. That's what my mother used to call him. Crafter, you know. He had his first crush on a 40-year-old. Made her a tiny little rose out of clay. She thought it was dead cute. He was in love for a year after that. He straps around the back of the legs. Offers the box to you, Oshi.
Oshi takes. Do you reckon she's strong enough to pick up the best plate, or would that go on last?
It's up to you.
Yeah. She takes the breastplate and she puts it on, and she says, "We used to sneak out of school when we were in school, and we'd hear stories of adventurers, and we'd play fight and play adventures, and we thought we were so grown up." And Tunk would always be the first to do the right thing. And I don't think I'd ever seen anybody do that before. Books, do you remember the time when he reached for the apple and he fell?
Yeah, he had to save his fairy, didn't he?
As you kind of all put your arms behind his back and lift the front of his torso up so you can strap the back, and you carry on, pups.
There was this one time a couple of years after we broke out of the school, and times were really hard. We didn't have this place, we didn't have any place, and everyone was so hungry, and we kept trying to steal, beg, borrow food, and we went for a really dry patch. And then I remember there was one day there was just this big barrel of apples. Me and Oshi ran off, like we made a distraction, and we ran either way of the. I think there were two brothers trying to sell the apples, and so Tunk and Baggy could just like grab a couple for us, and then by the time we all met back, like Tunk had picked up the entire barrel of the apple and like slung it over his back. And then not only did he went round and found every young person, every disadvantaged person for like a square mile, and everyone had apples that day.
I still say we could have made cider with them, though.
And what was what were you putting on at the time?
One of the gauntlets, or like the like mailed fist, or whatever it would be on dwarven armor, something on the hands and wrist.
Mm-hmm. For both of them? No,
just one, and like really just straightening everything out, making sure that like every buckle is done, like spending probably way too much time than is needed just to make sure that everything is right.
So then he grabs the other glove, pops it kind of into his hand, and you see him as he kind of brushes his hand. It's like cold, warm heart, and that's all he says as he puts down the other hand. And I think you all then together take the helm, and it's this kind of like classic steel helm, beautifully ornate, and it's got like the hammers down the side here, and they kind of come back to two ginormous horns as you kind of place it onto his head. As you look down at the body, in this absolute finery, you've never seen such finery on anybody. And the armor is one of the most exquisite you've ever seen. Jeremiah kind of looks down at the body. Do Kugrath. Si Ukamath. Tunk. Bloodstone. He kind of bows his head. You do realise we've got to get this down the stairs.
Yeah. Now he weighs twice as much. We're going to need the road.
Is there anybody you could call to help?
I think you'd struggle to find someone not willing to help carry Tunk. Especially looking like this. He looks like a hero.
Well, could you go out and have a look?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of go out the back?
Yeah.
All right. And you kind of go out onto the street, and the street is silent. Not even a table being set up. Nothing. As the sun sort of just peeks over the first couple of houses and it floods it in this kind of orange gold light.
Are we expecting a funeral today?
I think you were expecting a funeral today, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we both there?
I think it's just pups at the moment.
Is Mordok around?
No, actually.
Oh God, shit's bad. Okay, well then, trying to stay reasonably low profile. I think I'd go to the loos first.
Okay, cool. So you come over to the loose shop. Usually it's open at this time. Sunrise, it's usually open. It's closed up. But you know that you've always been able to be welcome if you knock hard enough.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, just bang on the door. It's I think Pups has a very insistent way of banging on a door, and it probably comes from lower on the door than most people.
And you kind of like stick you like this against the glass.
Yeah.
And you see Vimy kind of stick her head around the corner of the stairwell and then kind of scuttle out as much as a 7.5-foot Goliath can scuttle. And she kind of comes over to the door, opens the door, and you hear that ding, 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 ding. She's like, get in. So it closes the door.
What's the matter?
The street is odd today.
Yeah, I was expecting to see more people out at first light.
That'd be because of that. And she points at a piece of paper on the doormat.
I'll pick it up and read it.
It just says, no funeral.
Is it signed?
You see there is a small dagger sign next to it.
We have to have a funeral.
I just don't know what Ma's gonna do. I mean, did she burn down Fat's shop? Did she stab Tunk? I mean, I'm hearing so many conflicting things. This is a terrifying time to be a shop owner.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's also it's a very sad day to be Tunk's family, and we need a funeral.
Do you mean that we need to bury him, or that we need a festival?
I don't care. Just want to say goodbye to my friend today, please.
His like massive hand kind of goes onto your shoulder, and you kind of feel the weight of that and the strength of it. And she kind of pulls you in close, and you kind of get that smell of blood that's kind of on her apron.
Probably feels quite
Homely.
yeah.
And she squeezes you. So we kind of like see you in the shop, and it kind of comes out. You go across the road, and it goes up to back to the house. And the two of you kind of still stood over the body, trying to figure out what's the best way of carrying him.
I think in the interim, as Pups left, Oshi will have got the ring that Baggy gave Tunk, to make him look fancy. And it will have put it on his beard as well. Just because Baggy can't be here, so it's good that she's with
proud.
him.
That's a very handsome ring.
Yeah. The other person who lives with us gave it to Tunk.
Well, it's a piece of armor. Tell us a story.
Tunk had desires over this great being, and I think it was more of a professional admiration. Anyway, he was excited to go and see her, so Baggy gave him this ring to make him look and feel fancy, and he does and did.
Yes. Very proud that he found family. Makes me happy,
Mm.
that he had someone.
You had 3 of us.
And you all loved him.
Mm.
I would have liked to have known him better.
You'd have loved him.
As you kind of you can hear some footsteps outside, which is probably the first footsteps other than Pups' footsteps. And you stick your head out the window and you can see that Pups and Minnie are kind of walking across the road. And Minnie kind of comes up the stairs and then she's just like, so you've taken an elephant and you've made it 3 times as heavy. All right. Come on. He's not going to move if we don't try.
Thank you, Minnie.
All right. So we've got 4 of us. So I'm going to do 2 rolls. You guys are going to do a roll. It's going to be athletics. You're going to see how many of us fail and how many of us succeed. All right. So we're just trying to get over 12 on this one. Okay.
Okay.
So, let's have a look. D12s, dice roller. So Vimi's got a nice strength. Let's do Vimy first.
Sweet. Is it Vimy?
Sorry, Minnie.
Okay.
Whoa, Minnie rolls a 22.
Nice.
And then we roll up. And a 21 from Jeremiah. Okay, so it's all down to you 2.
6.
13. So less than half of us, more than half of us succeeded. So it's going to be fine. So we kind of lift this body up. But it gets so high that Pups, you can't actually hold the body anymore because they kind of get it up onto the shoulders and they kind of meander it through as you go down the stairs right out into back onto the street.
I think I'm actually holding Tunk still off the ground.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're just not being as useful at all.
Little legs going like this.
So instead you drop down and you kind of go to the front to kind of lead it.
I'll get the door.
And sort of you open the door up and you go out onto the street. And again, that mist is rolling through as the silence starts to kind of kick through. As you hear your feet clop, 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 and it sort of echoes in this usually very noisy street. What you do, can someone do a perception check for me, please?
Should I go?
Yeah, go on, Gabs.
Cool, great. You see lots of people out looking out of their curtains and out of their windows, but they're not out on the street at all. As they watch your tongue go past. Kind of leading your way up, and you get past number 12, and you see that loads of the gang are like outside meandering. That's the only place you can see people. And none of them even take any notice of you as you walk by. They don't stop, they don't talk, they don't look. It almost feels disrespectful in a way. As it continues down. And you come up to number 21. And standing in the doorway, there is a couple of the blades, and they are watching. But they're not doing it very respectfully, having cigarettes, spitting on the floor, that kind of stuff. And you all feel like the body's beginning to turn towards Big Fats. As you can feel that Jeremiah is pushing the walk towards Big Fats. And you kind of come to the corner of the building, and he kind of begins to like make a signal that it's time to put it down, essentially. And they put Tunk's body down. And he says, a dwarf's responsibility after life is to continue to defend his loved ones. Usually the wall would be the place, the weakest point, to bury the dead, to strengthen and to defend through death. But here, he looks around at this kind of black rubble. It's the weakest point on Blackstar Lane. A broken building. And one that Tunk himself. And then he stops a little bit and holds himself a little. Heroically. Acted stupidly. So he goes over to a corner and starts like moving the rubble out of the way from the corner pace.
I'll go and help him.
Oshi stays with Minnie.
Minnie goes over and starts clearing. But before she does that, let's see what you say. She gets kind of like, you can see her ready to kind of go over and help.
Why, Minnie, why isn't anybody out?
They're too scared. Because of them. She kind of looks across the road.
Right. And so, what was Tunk just like on the floor?
Yeah. Just on the floor.
Okay, well, she's probably just going to sit with Tunk then. I'm going to let him be on his own.
So the rest of you start to clear the way, and you start building like a small, or Jeremiah helps you build like a corner, like a almost like a cornerstone. And he kind of goes over, and it's like feels its strong strength. This looks like a good place to start building again. Him to watch over us all. Across from our enemies. And he kind of looks across at the blades. As you kind of you turn and you look at the blades, one of them kind of puts a cigarette down and sort of his feet. It's kind of got this slightly bald head and sort of slightly shaved sides. So it's like a fade, slightly like a fade. And he kind of saunters over a little bit. He's got a bit of a swag on him, a bit of a swag. But it's not really like an arrogant swag. It's more like a style, if that makes sense. And he kind of comes over and just sort of stands in the middle of the road watching.
Is there any indication of threat, of disrespect, of anything other than just neutral?
Says no, it's just neutral.
Then Pups will carry on working and say to Jeremiah, what do we do now? Where does he go?
We put him in.
Okay.
So they kind of start returning to the body. He kind of looks up. So, a friend of yours?
No.
It's lucky.
I don't-
It's lucky that dwarfs dressed for battle during the funeral, eh? All right.
I don't think he'd do anything face to face.
No, they just stab people in the back, don't they? He kind of looks back to the body, and that echoes around the street.
I think when that happens, I think Pups just looks up and just looks in the direction of the blade, waiting for them to do something.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we lift him on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. And he's like, oh, and he kind of pops him in, slightly unceremoniously, but he goes in. His horn is a little bit too big for us. He'd take his hat off and kind of rest it on his chest. Not that type of horn. And he pops it on his chest. And then he starts to kind of put the stones on top. And you hear Jeremiah, doth born, Goroth, alach mi muroth, estu Koroth, tunk, bloodstone. Kind of puts his hand onto a rock. And as he does, it's sort of like you see the rock kind of begin to meld together.
Oh, wow.
And sort of link together as it turns into this kind of solid piece. And he raises his hands. Gifted, you could say.
Thank you, Jeremiah. I don't know what we were going to even do. But this is really fitting. The Pups opens up his little bag on his hip and takes out like a multiple times repaired bowl with Tunk's name on it, and just sits it on the spot where Jeremiah's hand had gone.
And out of Oshi's pouch, she takes the ribbon that she first tied Tunk's and her wrists together when he ran off in the street, and she puts it in a bow, and then she puts it in the bowl. And she says to Jeremiah, well, this way we can come and see him all the time.
You'll be watching. Like you, stranger.
He was quite a fighter.
Yeah.
Won a lot of money off him. I'll make sure none of the boys disturb the site.
I'd say that's wise, yeah.
And he starts to take a few steps forward towards the group, looking over his shoulder to see the other lads watching him behind.
And they all kind of take like the same kind of steps forward. So they're just about close enough, but just enough far away.
He gets close to Pups and Oshi and says low enough so the lads behind him can't hear. Take this as professional courtesy. You two need to keep your heads down. Ma wants your heads on a fucking chopping block.
Well, thank you for divulging information we already knew. We must look more stupid than we are.
I could get killed for saying this, but not everyone that works for the Blades agrees with what's happened. I certainly don't. He was a good dwarf, and I respected him.
That sounds like a confession to me.
No confession. Just saying things aren't run like they used to be.
What, people didn't used to stab people in the back with poisoned daggers?
Well, I can neither confirm or deny.
How honourable of you.
Well, I thought there might be some honour left in the Blades. And I'm hoping there still is. Anyway, as I said, I'll make sure no one disturbs it.
Did you give out any letters? You given out any of these letters scaring people, saying that we can't even have a proper funeral today for our friend? Is that honourable, is it?
I'm not in charge.
Did you hand out any of the letters?
Some of the boys might have.
Do you want to roll a deception? No, sorry, a persuasion or a deception, depending on which one that is.
I'd rather. Does he know?
Well, if either he has given out the letters,
Yeah.
or he hasn't.
Well, he hasn't personally.
Okay, that is to a persuasion then.
10.
Is that enough, Pups? Do you reckon you can see through that? Do you think that he's lying?
No, I don't think it's
Do you think it's like a white lie, like it's not 100% true, but it's true? He hasn't himself.
it's not enraged me, but it's not satisfied me either. Like it's
Gotcha.
literally just sat on the middle.
That's good. Yep.
Like that's very cleverly politically put of you, but you're still a prick.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to honor our friend today. Do you think that's a bad idea too?
No, I see nothing wrong with that. Listen, you two. And he looks over his shoulder. Make sure that the rest of the Blades are at a distance. I may be in touch. My name's Arba. Anyway, we'll leave you alone. He was a good dwarf. And he slowly turns and walks back to the front door, where he then ushers the rest of the Blades back inside.
Yeah, you sort of do that, and you guys notice that he literally just points, and the other Blades kind of follow as he goes back inside. I think the rest of you kind of stay at the cornerstone. Who the fuck was that?
It's another one that thinks they can just talk and will come run in or jump in or hide in, whichever one they choose.
That one had power.
Never seen him before.
No. Actually, can I roll a history check to see if we have seen him before?
Yeah, sure. Do a history.
10.
You start talking about yes, the day before yesterday, when Tunk went over to the Blades,
Mm.
and then Oshi, that jogs your memory. So then, can you do a history check with advantage?
Oh God, sorry.
We'll take the 12. Okay, cool. That's good enough for me. And you remember, like, just in where Marblade was on the balcony when Tunk went in and he got his arms cut. That there was a figure, sort of. You had Billy. Billy wasn't there, but you had somebody else that was sort of standing a little bit to the left-hand side. And that's who you think it is. You think it's Arba. So you have seen him before. You saw him at that moment.
Well, he could be a right-hand man. And what's he doing talking to us?
As we kind of cut across the street, then with that, what's he doing talking to us? As we come through the black door, and we follow your footsteps as you walk in to the grand entrance.
And Arbor carries himself with as you had said before, a kind of confident swagger of a man who's been raised on the streets doing things that most upstanding citizens would shy away from. He has a bald head, maybe like 5 days stubble, smells faintly of like stale cigars. He's not an athletic build. He's slightly plumper or broader, the kind of lad that has got muscle behind just the thickness of his being, with kind of swollen knuckles, with maybe a few hand-drawn tattoos on them. And as he marches through the Blades, he heads straight for the upstairs to Blade's room.
Yeah,
and he doesn't talk to anyone on the way.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, as you're walking through, you notice, and there's loads of chatter, quite excitable chatter, actually. You can hear people go past, and as you're walking past people, you can hear things like, if they attack first, we'll smash the shit out of them. And then you kind of hit by somebody else, and it's like, yeah, those watchers, they just stand behind their doors. All we need to do is kick the door in. And then they keep going through. And it's like very excitable chatter as you kind of go up to the door. And as you kind of walk up to the door, you just hear this glass so I get smashed against the other side of the door of Mars' office.
He stops and listens to what's going on inside before he knocks again, or before he actually knocks.
Okay, so let's do a perception.
It's a 6, not good.
No, you can hear two voices in there. One you think is Mark, as it's old, cranky, and sounds like a bitch. And the other one, you think it might be Billy. But it's mostly Ma that you can hear.
And from, even if I can't tell what the words are, could I tell the tone of the conversation? I'm guessing the smashed glass is anger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And does it sound like she's berating Billy?
It just sounds like a lot of anger in there. I'm not giving you any more for a 6.
Fine, cool. He knocks on the door.
What?
It's Arba.
And you sort of like push open the door and you come in. Great, says Billy.
And he shoots him like daggers.
So, what? What?
He says nothing and he looks back to Ma.
Arba,
They deserve a funeral, you know.
I said no funeral.
That dwarf had honour.
He might have had honour, but he was stupid.
Well,
No funeral. I said no funeral.
the street's not going to be happy.
Fuck him.
That's not what Arfa would have done.
Well, Afa's not here anymore, is he?
So what's your next move?
Well, numbnuts over here. So, look, I've just got an idea. Yeah. He reckons there should be a little bit of violence to show power.
The fact there is no funeral shows power.
That's what I said.
So why the violence?
Not to the people. Our funds. They've been spreading lies about us. Say we stabbed him in the back.
Did ya?
Of course not.
Some of the boys downstairs are claiming it.
They'll claim anything if it gives them a few points. Stupid fucks. Look, we need to think about one thing right now, and that is territory. Currently, we're losing it. All this fucking business with that dwarf. We could lose control of this street.
Right.
No, right. Are you like that with Arfa as well?
Things were different with Arfa.
Oh, yeah, they were. Go on. What would Arfa have done?
Image.
Image.
It was all about image. The street don't respect you, and you'll be gone overnight.
Right. I never understood what he saw in you.
Neither do I.
All right. What's your grand image, Arba?
We give them a funeral.
And then she picks up a big decanter, just bucks it across the room. One more time, Arba. One more time.
All right then. Billy, what's your bright idea? Violence?
Yeah. Yeah, we just go over there, we kick his door in, then we go in and we stab him.
We are professional criminals, not murderers. If this is going to be done, it needs to be done smart. We are losing this street, and I don't fucking blame them.
Whose side are you on, Arba?
I'm on the Blades' side.
Please start pretending. Start showing it.
Right.
It does not sound as if you're on our side.
Marv, you could hear what the street is saying.
Go on, enlighten me. Please, crack on.
They're saying we're not what we used to be. They're saying that they used to respect us. They're saying that we were better off with Arfa controlling it. They're saying that you and Billy are fucking lunatics. Unpredictable. You cannot rule this street with fear and fear alone. Now, I am on the side of the Blades. I have been brought up here. This is my family. But I do not want to see the Watchers, or the City Watch, or the street revolt against us.
And how do we clear it all up?
We need to pin this on the Watchers and make sure that information is being pushed in the right direction, under our control. We need to show some sympathy towards those that the street loves, whether it is real or not.
Fine. She pulls out a watch out of her pocket, pops it on the table.
Who's that for?
For them, his family. Make sure it's public.
Not going to be much public showing if everyone's hiding inside.
Oh, what's done is done.
All right. I'll give it to him.
And Arba, question me again. I'll chop your fucking fingers off.
Yes, Ma.
Yes, Ma. Get out.
And he shoots a look at Billy and then leaves.
And sort of as the door shuts, you can hear them go back into conversation again.
Arbor goes downstairs. Has he got? Do you think he's got a crew of people that he works with that he trusts?
Well, the first thing that happens when you catch you and you step out the door, you just hear this. Silly Arbor. Nice meeting. Good cup of tea, was it?
What do you think?
She swings like a blade, pops it into her pocket.
She's not happy.
Thought you could tell her a joke or something, maybe sing her a song.
Yeah, well, I'm not the singing type.
Yeah, of course you're not. So, whose fingers we breaking? Whose kneecaps? Which shop?
We're not.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
No.
You sort of see that she's visibly disappointed.
No, it's not a shame. Whether we like them or not, it's a day of mourning.
She sort of like pulls out a black hanky, like goes to put it on her arm and just blows her nose and just drops it on the floor.
Arbor's
Right, so,
expression is one of frustration.
End of the day,
and-
it's like losing in a racehorse, isn't it? It's like it's a shame, made you loads of money, but it's done now. It's lame.
Yeah, well, he was important to some.
Yeah, true. Very true. And she pulls all her blades out inside. So what Ma say? Puts it back into her pocket.
I don't believe that's any of your business.
Ah, come on. I got to learn if I got to replace you.
You're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah, we'll see, won't we, little Arbor? She kind of leans forward, kisses you on the cheek.
A shiver runs down Arbor's spine. She told me that we need to get on top of this rumours, discussion. People are saying it was us that did Tunking.
Oh.
We need to make... Apparently we didn't.
Ah, well, that's nice.
despite what little fucking Jimmy Needles says downstairs,
Yeah.
I think it's all fucking talk. So we need to make sure that everyone knows it wasn't us.
Righty-o. I've got you, Arba.
Right. Now fuck off. I've got a delivery to make.
Off you go then. Oh, and Arba, she says she's if you're about 3 steps away. She's like, she throws a blade and it like lands into one of your shoelaces. Shoelaces untied.
And he says nothing. He just kind of like exhales loudly. Bends down, fucking tries to force the dagger out of the floor. And kind of goes like, oh, fuck. Pulls it out, hits himself in the head.
You notice about 90% of the room laugh. Apart from like one Dragonborn. Who stands sort of stoically in the corner. As you drop the knife. Clang, clang, clang. In this kind of barrel of laughter.
And he like shoots a look at the like underlings.
And some of them stop laughing. Most of them carry
on. He ties his shoelace, walks back down the stairs, and exits through the front door again.
As you you come out the front, and then you feel someone behind you.
You need to get that breathing sorted out, son. It's fucking disgusting.
And then he breathes in. As he kind of like whistles out of his nose as you turn your head. And you see this kind of like bright red and blue dragonborn sort of stood next to you. Yes. I got a breathing problem. Sorry. Snore as well.
You need to stop getting your nose broken every weekend.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's funny that my knuckles don't squeak now. Oh, well, they do, yeah. He's sort of like he's like crunching. It's better. So, boss, what's going on?
We've got to make a rather public display right now.
Want to beat someone up on the street?
No.
Oh.
A gesture of empathy.
I'll leave that up to you then, boss.
Well, I was expecting to do the same thing.
Yeah, I could do it.
Right, listen to me.
Right.
Under no circumstances.
No circumstances, yeah.
Are you to swear?
I might fucking swear, yeah.
To intimidate?
To intimidate.
To take out your knife?
Take out my knife, yeah.
You stand quietly with your hands together and your head down. You are mourning as far as anyone is concerned.
My spring morning or an afternoon or like a...
And he slaps him.
Bang. Oh. Deserve that.
Yes, you fucking did.
Ooh. Ooh.
Right.
And he puts his hands down.
Good.
He bows his head.
Right. And Arbor walks a little ahead of who is this crazy dragonborn? What's his name?
His name is Snug.
Snug. Okay. I think he's going to be the bane of my existence. He walks a little ahead of Snug. And I'm guessing the group are still there, the gang.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're doing that kind of last rites, so sort of candles and burning incenses and stuff like this. Quite a long process to bury a dwarf.
And he walks and loudly starts to proclaim, "This is from the Blades. It is a token of sympathy and of our innocence in Tunk Bloodstone's death."
Okay, can you do a performance check for me, please?
I certainly can. 16.
Okay, good enough. Cool. So the rest of the street, you sort of see some windows sort of open and people sticking their heads out, and sort of people are looking out at this scene of like, this is interesting. So they kind of like lean out. The three of you there, different story. That performance has nothing on you guys. That's you can decide how you react just for the street. And
We
you
are
guys look
publicly
around. Yeah, but you
making
drop
it known.
You drop this watch, which is Baggy's watch, by the way.
That your accusations should be pointed towards the Watchers. And as he has kind of dropped the watch, he bends down and kind of whispers loudly to the group, "I need to see you later. This is unofficial business. I need you to know some things. Whilst this is a day of mourning, it is for public safety that you must remain inside. We are doing this for your protection."
And you just do this. That's up the street in number 12.
"We do not want to see any more blood on this street." And I'll try and do a sleight of hand to drop a little handwritten note, if I can kind of assume that it's been written already.
Yeah, why not?
To drop a little note on the ground in front of Oshi and Pups. I can do the sleight of hand to see if anyone sees it apart from them. Would you like me to do so?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's not my forte, but here we go. Ooh, that was public.
And you just hear this. As this glass bottle gets thrown towards you and sort of lands good 2 meters away.
Do I know where it's come from?
Yeah, street number 12.
Right.
So, all right.
Do I recognize who it is? Is it just one of the Watchers?
One of the Watchers at the moment.
Arbor turns to him and says, "Respect the dead."
Yeah, respect the street as well, yeah? Don't drop any litter. Yeah?
"Don't be throwing bottles. Someone could get hurt."
Do what we like on our street, yeah? What, you got a problem? What's that? Is that big man? You got a problem?
"Not today."
Not today, nah. Maybe tomorrow, yeah, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, lads, yeah?
And Arbor just turns on his heels and
Pup
walks.
is going to walk towards Arbor before he gets a chance to leave. How far were you from where we were? Were you in the middle of the street? Were you?
I have come upright to you to drop the watch and the note off. I've then turned and walked maybe 2 paces away from you. So I'm now kind of approaching center of the street.
And you've still got the watch?
No, I've given you the watch.
Okay. If you want to make a gesture, next time, put it in the bowl. And Pups just points at the cornerstone.
All right.
And walks away.
Do you leave the watch on the floor?
Yeah.
Arbor carries on and gets snug. And they
Snug
go
sort of
back
just
inside.
Stood in the middle of the road like this.
He kind of like forcefully grabs him by the sleeve and pushes him back and pushes him in front of him towards the door of the Blades.
Just a question, if he like, I know, if the bottle like hit me, let's say, right, does that mean that I can't attack because I'm being mournful?
That's exactly what it means, Snug.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so Gazer up there, and there's another lady up there that's sort of looking a little bit angry. And he sort of points over at Madame Virgine's. You can see there's people at the window like this.
Well, we are not everyone's favourite family right now.
Fair enough. We had a good time, didn't we? A bit of a bad time, I suppose. I suppose it's a bit like, Harvest Feast. You ever have Harvest Feast? You've always got a family that you just don't like. Or, like, maybe even your own family that you don't like. You have that argument and everything goes to shit. Are we a bit like that right now?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, good. No, I just need things in like a contextual sort of way, especially if it's around food. Mate, if it's around food,
Can we not have this conversation in public?
Yeah. All right, boss. Yeah. That's all right. Mournful, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right. Inside.
Right. Everyone does it, and all you can hear is laughter from number 12. And you can see there's a few people in the windows that look terrified. So we kind of look down at this watch that's on the street. I'll give you guys a chance to do anything with it before.
She's like looks down at it and then looks at Pups with like, like, please let me have this. It's really expensive. Just like willing out, like, please. And she's already taken the note off the floor.
Pups knows what this look is like. Know what this look means, and what's happening at number 12?
They're all just sort of laughing, looking over. Mostly they're fixed on Arbor, really, to be honest.
All right, then Pups is going to walk out into the street and pick up the watch.
And you sort of turn around, and as you start walking back, you hear that crunch of the glass around you.
Yeah.
As you kind of walk back and hand it over to Oshi. No, you can keep it.
Yeah.
As we're going through it over to Oshi's hands, do we see this note as you open it out?
Yeah.
As it kind of focuses on what's on the paper itself.
It says, the third morning bell behind Big Fats.
As he kind of like goes through that and fade to white for a little bit. So we're going to have a little break. And we'll come back in about 5 minutes time. And we'll continue our little adventure. And we'll see where this goes.
Oh, yeah. Exciting.
See you guys in a bit.
Right.